Welcome to Emotions and Eating with Nicola-beer. Nicola controlled her feelings using food for 25 years, so she knows how draining it is to be constantly thinking about or acting out with food. Thankfully, having made an amazing breakthrough in her recovery, her mission became about helping others escape the unsatisfying cycle of frustration and self-medication with food. Nicola is determined to help you find your inner strength so you can be healthy, gain confidence, feel great, and be at peace with yourself and food.
Hi there, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. And if you're not having a great day, I hope that by the end of listening to this, it will somehow lift you or help you in some way. Today we're going to be talking about how to stop obsessing about food, which is something that I didn't realise was such a big thing and such a big problem for me until years later, until I actually sat back and thought, oh my goodness, I am thinking about food all the time. Actually, in the moment, I didn't really realise it, if that makes sense. I don't know how I didn't realise it now looking back, but maybe because I didn't have anyone to share it with. I didn't have any idea how much it was causing problems for me. So I'm going to share with you today about how to stop obsessing about food. So let me ask you a question. Are you constantly thinking about food? Whether it's what you've eaten, what you're going to eat next, how little you plan to eat. Do you think about what you plan to eat hours, days, or weeks in advance? Do you get stressed or worried about food that you may have to eat, or that there won't be enough? Sometimes people think that to fix your eating issue or eating disorder, if you prefer to call it that, and I don't, that the way to change is to simply say to yourself, or simply say to you, that you look good, that don't worry about your weight, that I think you look great, or someone telling you that you're not fat, or just to eat more, or telling you what they do for themselves. So they may say, oh, I'm just eating vegetables and chicken, and this really keeps me healthy. If you are suffering with overeating, bulimia, anorexia, then hearing such things goes in one ear and out the other, as you probably know. For those of us that hate our bodies and see ourselves as fat no matter what size we are, a friend or partner well-meaning comment isn't going to help us at all. It's like they want you to say, yeah, you're right, problem solved. You told me I'm not fat now, then I'm not going to worry. Thank you so much. But of course that never, ever happens. If only it was that simple. You've probably had all sorts of unsolicited advice thrown at you about your size. Am I right? And you may have been told not to worry, or given a suggestion for what to eat or what foods to avoid to do, or what exercise you should be doing. And we don't listen to it because our relationship with food is in our mind. And it's so ingrained that we just delete what other people say, and this makes us feel worse, as they make it sound so simple. Sometimes I feel like saying sarcastically, oh, if only I had thought of that. Problem solved. But that's my British sarcasm for you, and I hold back on that because a lot of people wouldn't probably like that sarcasm. But I am British, so yeah, I do admit that sometimes in my head I do think these sarcastic things. And I'm mentioning this because it's not a simple thing that can be changed in a conversation with others, as you most probably know. In order to become free of eating habits and eating disorders and eat healthily and sensibly, we must get to the point where we can say we are suffering enough and we want to change. And this often doesn't happen overnight. And maybe you're not ready to make that step yet. And maybe that's why you're here. You're allowing me to share my story with you and stories of those I've helped to see if it could support you, or to perhaps see if you do want to take the step to change. Because this is what happened to me. I knew I had an issue with food and bulimia, but I didn't want to address it because I was scared. Scared of getting fat, scared of change, scared of losing control of my food and having to eat what other people gave me to eat. I wanted to be in full charge of what I put into my mouth. The day I reached a breaking point was when I went on holiday with my boyfriend. We went away to Thailand and stayed in a beautiful island. Our hotel was lovely, people were friendly, the sun was shining, and we had a picture-perfect sea view. Yet I ruined the time I had with my food thoughts and not really being present. It all started the first day. I couldn't control myself at the hotel buffet breakfast. I wanted to eat everything and taste everything, and at the same time, I didn't want to put on weight. So I also wanted to control and make sure that I was not eating too much. So I had this internal battleground going on inside me. I picked up 2 slices of bread, put it in the toaster, then a voice said to me, "No, only have 1. Then I went to order the eggs, and I wanted an omelette, but the voice inside me said, "No, have poached or boiled eggs because there's no oil or fat or milk in them." I longed to have pancakes with thick chocolate sauce or syrup, but I would not let myself. So I piled my plate high with 1 piece of toast, 2 massive scoops of baked beans, poached eggs and tomatoes, and a bowl overloaded with fruit. After eating that, I wanted more. I still was not satisfied, so I went back for more fruit and to have another slice of toast, the one I naughtily had just left by the toaster before. I ate so much that I could feel it all in my stomach and throat. We then headed to the pool. I felt like a lead balloon because I'd eaten so much. I could barely move. I felt sick and just laid there thinking about how much food I had eaten and told myself off for eating so much. And then I started planning what I would eat tomorrow for breakfast. I agreed with myself not to have any lunch and wait until 8 p.m. for the evening meal to make up for how much I'd eaten. It was no good though. I felt so heavy and disgusting that I went to our hotel bathroom to be sick and was sick. Part of me was still not satisfied that I'd been sick enough, thinking inside, I don't feel I've got enough sick out of me yet. But I did feel a bit better. My eyes were watering from the choking and my face was red hot and I had sick on the ends of my hair. But the inner voice was happy. Well, at least you got rid of the food, it said. Now you can have lunch. The other side of me replied, "No, this is not a victory. You are on holiday and you're meant to be enjoying yourself and relaxing. What are you doing?" What I had done then sunk in. I'm on holiday, meant to be without a care in the world, and here I am, being sick on day 1 and having a sore throat because I cannot control myself at a hotel buffet. I messed up. That's what I said to myself. I then said to myself, I will not do this again tomorrow. I won't eat so much again. I will control myself. I made it through the day and had a bowl of fruit for lunch, as I did feel hungry by 3 p.m, but I didn't feel good while sat at the pool. I thought about food all the time. It was exhausting. I was thinking, I wonder what will be served for dinner. Tomorrow I'm only going to have 1 piece of bread and no eggs. Then one voice said, "Eat what you want. You can diet when you get back home." The other voice said, "No, don't eat anything. Keep slim." Yet that evening was another buffet and disaster for me. I'm not content with 1 plate. I always have to have 2 and try to fill myself up on vegetables to the point where I'm not actually enjoying the food. I'm binging on healthy food to stop myself from eating other food, but all I end up doing is eating so much I feel trapped. I felt stuck, like a mouse going for the prize cheese and being caught in the deadly trap every time I walked to the buffet. Another 6 days of this, I thought. Buffet breakfasts and dinners. And sadly, the cycle did repeat itself. It was stuffing for breakfast, starving for lunch, and stuffing again in the evening. This became my cycle. The holiday was a blur because for me it was one big crazy food obsession. I could not free myself from this crazy world, and I tried everything to stop thinking and acting in this way, but nothing had worked. I ate until I was full, then sometimes made myself sick, then spent the rest of the time planning about what food to eat or to not eat. Even on the days where we did day trips to the national parks and temples, I was not in the moment. My head was into thinking about food. Every food was judged as good, bad, fattening, healthy. When I was sick on the last day after breakfast, I stood up and took a look at the mirror. I felt defeated. The voice had won again. I'm such a loser, I can't even enjoy a holiday, I thought. Then I muttered the words, I hate you. I cleaned my teeth and washed my hair with some water and wiped it down with a towel because I had a bit of sick on the ends of it. And I had black eyes from the mascara smudged everywhere, so I cleaned my face too. I felt homeless. How come being away on holiday I could not just eat normally and not think about food? How come every time I wanted to eat something there was a running commentary in my head? How come I thought about food all the time? It was robbing me of my life minute by minute. It was not just the times I binged, was sick, compulsively overate. It was every moment that I thought about food and my weight was preventing me from being present and enjoying the holiday with my boyfriend. When I did this, I was not thinking about the things that were really important to me, like having fun, exploring the place, creating special moments with a man I love dearly. Instead, I was trapped thinking about food. As I closed the lid on the toilet and sat back on it, I felt like a complete nutcase. My throat felt croaky and sore, like it had suddenly been hit with tonsillitis, all sore and itchy. I looked into the mirror and my face was slightly puffy and I felt disgusted at the sight of me. And then something happened. As I looked into the mirror and locked into my eyes, I saw the real me. The me that was hurting and screaming inside to be loved. I stood up and looked at myself. I felt a deep sensation coming over me. I felt a deep love firing up from the inside. What are we going to do with you, Nicola? How are we going to change this? I saw how all the comfort eating, weight control and purging was because I so desperately wanted to be seen and loved by myself. I felt not worthy of love and these food thoughts were a distraction. I just wanted to love myself and accept myself whatever size I was. My disgust melted and changed to love. As I kept staring into my eyes, I felt compassion for myself, having this horrible condition. I saw the pain in my eyes. No one deserves to live like this, I thought. No one deserves to worry about what they're eating so much that it prevents them from enjoying their life. No one deserves to miss out on precious moments with those they care about because they are so mentally absorbed with food, dieting and weight loss. As I looked lovingly at myself, it really hit me. I must find another way. I was sick and tired of cursing myself for failing yet another diet, weight loss program or food plan. I couldn't stand thinking about food any longer. It was an addiction. A way to distract myself from life, to control life, and the urge was stronger than my willpower. You cannot be free of something you are constantly focusing on, as I mentioned in my other podcasts. It's no wonder that things were getting worse. Despite my best efforts, I felt like I was back to square one each time. I had to find a way to change my thoughts. Whether I started as a food addict or became one later after being absorbed and influenced by the diet industry, media, and all focus around me that's on food, I didn't know. But what I did know was I'd become addicted to thinking about food. Understanding and admitting that I was addicted to food thoughts helped me to break free. Awareness is the first key to change. So if you can recognise yourself in anything I've shared, and if you too have a battleground going on in your head, despite the conditions, I'm here for you and I'm grateful for you sharing this journey with me. I'm also proud of you and I admire you because it took me so long to admit to myself that I had this problem. And I've come a long way. And I know so many people who I've worked with who have also come such a long way. And what makes me even more excited and motivated to continue is that I know that there are still so many people out there who will beat this and live this life if they are meant to. Part of my journey, I needed to find a way to stop these thoughts from weighing me down. You may be wondering, how did I become free? Well, there are 6 steps to freedom in the Pure Peace formula, and so many tools to help men and women achieve the freedom they deserve. As you can probably imagine, breaking an addiction takes a structured plan and support, which is why in my programs I offer unlimited support in the work I do. People can message me or email me any time they like. For now, the best advice I can give you that really works is to not fight your thoughts. Instead of fighting your thoughts, getting angry at your mind for racing, feeling victim to circling food planning and battles, be kind to your mind. You may be wondering, how do you do that? Well, first you acknowledge